Welcome to US Tzu Chi 360. I'm your host, Dilbar Shatterson, and today we're at the Brooklyn Bridge Park, where the view of the city skyline that you see behind me looked a little different 12 years ago. The ripple effects of September 11th have spread far and wide, and some of those include the policing, the arrest, and the deportation of thousands of the city's Muslim young men. So here to help us understand some of the changes since then is attorney Lamis Deek. So welcome, Lamis.
Hi, thank you.
You were in New York while you were in law school during 9/11. So to what extent does that influence some of your major cases?
It was my second year of law school, and it was certainly not what I planned on doing with my legal career. But 9/11 happened, and it was a matter of need. I was watching people that I respected, people that I had known, people that I could sympathize with need people like me who understand the culture, understand the language, understand the political motivations behind a lot of what was happening, and also in the same sense, deconstruct that and present it to a jury or present it to a judge. So I would say the entirety of my career, unfortunately, has been influenced by the events of 9/11. The biggest problem we faced across the board after 9/11 was the bootstrapping of a lot of terrorism charges in a lot of simple cases. For example, a plumber was driving across the Brooklyn Bridge and he had a broken taillight. So he would get arrested for driving with the broken taillight and then an automatic bootstrapping of a terrorism charge. That was what we faced immediately after 9/11.
On that note, let's actually go visit Mohammed Razvi of COPA, the Council of People's Organization in Brooklyn, to see how he is servicing his own community.
I grew up in this neighborhood. It's known as Little Pakistan in Brooklyn, New York. When I first came here with my dad about 30 years ago, my dad opened up the first grocery store.
I came in September 77.
Just like all immigrants, what do you do when you come to the United States? You work and you work and you work.
I'm the first person over here to open up the business.
With my dad, I was running 5 different businesses. I had a grocery store, I had a restaurant, I had a construction company, I had real estate investment, I had a 99-cent store. And that's all we were doing. Then, 9/11 attacks happened, and it just changed the whole world for us.
September 11, a lot of things happened.
During that time, many people were picked up in our neighborhood because they had Muslim names. Because at that moment, they were just looking for individuals' names.
Some of people come inside, women come in, I don't know where's my husband, where's my father, where's my son.
I still have, cards which were left by law enforcement agencies at that moment. One of them reads, "Please call me as soon as possible. I need to just ask you some questions." The guy was so afraid, he didn't even go home for 4 days. He came into my office and he was crying. This is what happened to so many people with all these cards that they had left behind. Everybody was afraid. Here's a case of a 10-year-old little girl. I was walking and this lady called me a terrorist and made killing signs. Did you report it? No. Why not? Because I was too frightened to tell anyone. These are the stories that were happening at that moment.
So then I decided there should be an organization who could help those people who are in trouble.
We started this organization just to help the people. Prior to 9/11, individuals who were the dishwasher, the yellow cab drivers, or business person, any one of these individuals, they were doing so great. They were prospering in their community. After 9/11, everything just fell apart. Currently, what we're seeing is individuals are coming back. They're getting back on their feet, but it's a struggle still.
When did he stop working as a security guard?
Security guard कब आपने रुका काम करना तकरीबन? And that's one of the reasons why we started the senior center. Because all these seniors that are coming to us, they don't have the resources to get food. Working in 2011, he was still working. You believe this?
Wow. How did you survive it?
Well, this is the thing. Since we opened up the center, we give them food, we give them, a lot of things here.
No. Okay. Does he have any savings?
No, not at all.
Lot of food.
Over the years, what was supposed to be a temporary organization turned out to be a permanent organization. This is a list of all the clients we have serviced so far since 9/11. And it is everything and anything that they need help with. Whether it's applying for benefits, whether it's for food, whether it's other issues that they have, everything. Our community members, we realized we're not aware of the system. This is something that's enlisted in our mission, to work with our community and community leaders for them to understand the system in the United States. One of the things that we did was start these iftar dinners throughout the 5 boroughs. So the mayor opens his house and Muslims go and they pray in his house. And after 9/11, that was not that easy to do. Getting the representatives and then moving forward. I mean, even just getting the communities together, it's not easy.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmah. I greet you and welcome you all to the 2013 annual Ramadan Iftar Banquet hosted by the Bronx Borough President, His Excellency, President Ruben Diaz Jr.
Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. Once again, this is our 5th year here at Borough Hall. And I just want to thank all of you for coming out. This is the biggest crowd that we had here for the iftar since we started this at Borough Hall. And I'm so happy. Give yourself a strong round of applause. I'm honored the fact that we have such a vibrant Muslim community in the borough during their holiest month. For them to even accept the invitation of the borough president to come here at the Rotunda during this auspicious occasion, the iftar, the breaking of, you break fast, where we need to break down the stereotypes, where we need to come together, whether we're Christian, Jews, Muslims, Hindus. And here, as you can see, in the Bronx, we have a vibrant community that comes from all over the world. I think that there's still challenges that they face, just like so many other different communities in the city of New York and in the country. Obviously, there are still some negative stereotypes that are cast on all of them, which is wrong. And certainly that's why we do this, so that people can understand that when you look at the Muslim community, that they're a community of faith, that they're a community of discipline and sacrifice and family, and say, you know what, we are all our brothers and sisters. We need to move forward in harmony, and inshallah, the future of the Bronx, the future of the city will be a whole lot better.
This iftar in the Bronx, it started because there was a sister who actually came to the iftars that we were helping to hold in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. And she requested me, please, can you help us to start one in the Bronx? So I came next year while I was doing the other iftars, and I helped to organize this iftar. And now it's been going on for over 5 years.
Really, I'm so happy that we have had previous iftar dinners, especially seeing the diversity of the community. In the Bronx, diversity is about unity. It's not about dividing us, and we understand each other.
It was never possible, but it's a blessing. Each borough president allows that to happen. It happens in the 5 boroughs, and it's the most wonderful thing. Other groups want to do it for their own organizations, and they're inviting Muslims and non-Muslims because we are empowering them that they can also be part of the city, part of our life in New York.
How are you living? How's everything? More as we is one of the role models for our community. And COPO basically is to educate the people, to train the people, to take fear from the people out. I myself, when did not come to US, I did not understand the US. I was thinking that US government is against each and every Muslim, which was wrong. When I came here, in primary stages, I did not want to take US passport. Living in this country as a Muslim is not tough, it's very easy. US society is well-mannered and well-educated society. They do believe that every Muslim is not criminal. So that is why now Muslims are trying to make sure that their second and third generation will not face those problems which they faced already. I believe in USA, we Muslims are proud to live here as US citizens, and this is the country of law. This is the country of tolerance. This is the country of patience.
Islam says, our God says, our Prophet says, that you are human and you are supposed to help human. That's the main thing. Anybody who's Muslim and he doesn't have that kind of kind heart, polite heart, kindness, etiquettes, respect, he's not a Muslim. I don't count him as a Muslim. No.
When I was growing up, I remember till today, my dad always used to help people. Whether it's a person who didn't get their paycheck, helping them to get food on credit, that's what he did. Many people who came from different parts of Pakistan to come here for a better life, they used to stay in my room as a roommate, My dad used to always tell me, oh, it's an uncle from Pakistan. I'm like, I don't know how many uncles I had. When a person was looking for a job, he used to write their name and a phone number. And then when a person had a job, he used to try to connect them. That actually resonated with me, to help everyone and help the others. So this is the book. People still take in credit. And this is how he's been doing, helping everyone. I ultimately had to sell off all my businesses, give it to my family members, my brothers, and I said, you take care of it. I can't run the businesses and do this. This is all I do. When I see one of my clients who we've been working with, he receives what he needed, whether it's the furniture, whether it's the mattress, whether it's a client that we were working with immigration and he got released, or whether his wife was able to come, that he had sponsored, or whether it's a person who just passed his American citizenship test. It is like such a good feeling. You know how many times I have to eat the sweets? And that's why I'm getting a belly, because so many clients, they come in and they're like, oh my God, here's some sweets, I passed my test. It gives you purpose. Yeah, I think I got my purpose. Here, I have, let me show you, Bill Gates, always reminding me, money's not everything. He made all the money and then he's like, you know what, I really want to help the people. And that's what he's doing. And I'm like, yes. And it keeps me a reminder. That's why I keep it.
As Mo Rezvi mentions that money isn't everything, his father reiterates some of those same lessons when he mentions his own dedication to helping the people in his community, even as an immigrant himself with his own issues. Now, of course, as time changes, challenges naturally follow suit. So, in trying to move past 9/11, what do you see as some of the newer problems surfacing for some of your recent clients?
I think that the structural incorporation of the anti-terror laws, which really amount to a lot of anti-Arab, anti-Muslim racism. The Court of Appeals, the New York Court of Appeals recently said that although it couldn't define terrorism, it did know that it involved Muslims on some levels. We saw a decline in prosecutions and a decline in the attacks on the Arab and Muslim community from 2006 until 2008. And then in 2008, we saw a rapid escalation of both government and civil repression against Arab and Muslim communities. So I would not at all say that we have in fact recovered or that the impacts have waned. I think that they've become more coordinated and perhaps less visible to the non-Arab, non-Muslim communities.
How do you feel in some way that the New York City can help?
Education is the first and most important step. Each of us taking a step back from our assumptions and what we've been taught, and essentially, and unconsciously regurgitate about our understanding of the Arab and Muslim community in New York, whether it's the cultural practices, the religious practices, the laws, if you will, Sharia, for example, the role of the mosques in the communities, which has been tremendously helpful in stopping communities or individuals from becoming radicalized. They've had the opposite effect. Understanding that what affects the Arab and Muslim community now will inevitably affect the larger American and New York population.
We'll actually turn back to Tzu Chi volunteers and Kopo to see how they're providing hands-on assistance and education to residents living in Brooklyn.
After Hurricane Sandy, when I came on Monday to open up the office, I had two of my seniors with a little bag and just sitting here in front of my office. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? They said, our house was flooded and we have no place to go. So what we started to do was hold FEMA clinics so our community members can register with FEMA and get the proper help. As we were doing that, we found out that FEMA is not helping any person who's undocumented. They basically said they're not eligible for any help. We reached out to the mayor's office, we worked with them, and they say they connected us to Tzu Chi. And Tzu Chi Foundation, I still remember it, on January 19th when they came and everything, and they showed, they said, oh my God, here's some help. And we were able to distribute $30,000 in one day to these people who did not receive any help for the past 3 or 4 months. And now we have a full-fledged, I had to hire 10 people immediately to work with the caseloads.
My name is Arbab Patul. I am a disaster case manager at Kopo. His first visit was here in November, and I saw that he was taking hot showers here. He was coming here in with his kids. He came here, he did receive Tzu Chi, but he was still waiting for mattresses. He was still waiting for a place to live. He was still waiting to find a job. He was still waiting for clothes for his kids. He was just waiting and waiting to see what can happen for him.
मेरा नाम खलील अहमद है। मैं इधर आया हूँ तकलीफ थी बारिश की वजह से। हमारे बच्चे तकलीफ में थे। मैं कोपो के पास पहुँचा हूँ कि ये तकलीफ हो रही है। मेरे बच्चे सर्दी में खराब बहुत बीमार हो रहे हैं। तो इधर आके नाम दिया तो उन्होंने मेरी मदद की है पूरी। उन्होंने ब्लैंकेट वगैरह सब कुछ दिया कि ये लो उधर जाओ और ये करो और कोशिश करते रहे हमारी बहुत खाने के लिए ही थे। इन्होंने बोला कि आप इधर आ जाओ वहाँ टेक शावर एवरीथिंग नो हैव पानी ठंडा गर्म नहीं है ना। That's why I come here all the time. Eat everything I take here and my kids too. Then I take home like this. Difficult to hell, lot of problem is 6 kids, 1 people is go work. Go in the grocery store before I work. Then money come, little bit money government give to, then eat everything. That's it.
I'm still working with him. I'm always following up with him. This is one client I see weekly. He calls me and he tells me what's going on. He tells me what's progressing. He tells me that there's not much furniture in my house, but I'm getting there.
A lot is a little bit is okay. Now is okay. I have a small house. It's okay. Nothing to bear. पहले तो काम बस कभी काम का I go sometime 1 day 2 days some people no come I go work and there's money come cash he give to me yes same like this.
With all the clients that we have and the disaster case managers, daily basis, they are actually in conversations with the individuals and assessing what they need. Individuals who need that extra help, we are in touch with Tzu Chi. And Tzu Chi comes in and assesses that and then helps them more.
My name is Amir Sajjad and I'm a doctor by profession, medical doctor. So I just came to States like 2 months back and I just wanted to do some volunteer work and do some community service. For that's why I joined Kopo and luckily had the honor of going to the home visit with Tzu Chi right from the first day. And believe me, I just want to thank each and every volunteer of Tzu Chi who went with me. Believe me, all of you made me learn so much. The first thing I learned from the team Tzu Chi is to respect humanity and to serve humanity. That feeling when it comes to you, it's really satisfying. So I mean, the very first day I went, I felt like that experience was something out of this world, and I'm still going through that thing.
Our case managers are able to connect the need and where the resources are. And if they need more help, Tzu Chi comes in and they help them even more. For example, next week, Tzu Chi is going to be bringing in furniture for at least, I think, 19 families.
Today, after coordination with the help of a couple, we came to Brooklyn. This family, we just delivered a bunker with the other 2 twin beds. Before that, the whole family asleep on the ground.
Yes, before we were sleeping on the floor. And because of Tzu Chi and Kopo's help, now we will be able to sleep better on our new beds. Me, I come from Pakistan, and I always knew that Pakistani mix well with people from the Chinese culture, and that's exactly what I see here, this beautiful relationship.
Without their translation assistant, we cannot achieve today's delivery because there's a language barrier between our client and our volunteer. I think through the cooperation each other, Tzu Chi and Kopo, we can bring more support to benefit what the people affected by Sandy.
We are all humans, and we want to help others. And that's the human in us. Whether it's the Tzu Chi Foundation, whether it's the Pakistani, whether it's the Muslim, whether it's the Buddhist, or whether it's the Indian, it's in the overall, there's a spirituality which we want to do good. It doesn't matter if I'm a Muslim and fasting and you're a Buddhist and you're not fasting, or if he's a Hindu and he prays to statues. It doesn't matter. But doing the good for the community, for the humanity, is what binds us together. And it overcomes all the differences and shows the commonalities that we have. That's what's bringing together here. And that's what's been going on.
So Lamis, I want to ask you, how fulfilling is it for you to make progress in your cases?
I think it's always been important for me to feel like I can be part of protecting people and making people's lives better. So I hope at the end of the day that somehow I have. So I guess it is enough to keep me going.
Thank you for joining us, Lamis. And from the Brooklyn Bridge Park, thank you for joining us for this special episode commemorating 9/11. I'm Dilbar Chatterson, and I'll see you next time.